Now, when they saw the boldness and perceived that they were uneducated, common men,
Ron,
they were astonished.
we back at it, Ron. Violins. Lord of violins. Y'all know what time it is when the violins come on. What up? Welcome to Layman's Cup. Thank you for joining us. You are sipping with four guys seeking the truth, one sip at a time. I'm Kemp, and I'm alongside Bob Sims, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
My man, Sean.
What's up?
And last but not least, say what's up to the people, Wes.
What's up?
I'm flying through it today because we got to get to it. Holly's only got an hour, and Josh Cody is on punishment. Are you on punishment?
No, why would I be on punishment?
Oh, okay. I thought you told me you were in. No, that was Michael Salinick. That was
Michael
yeah.
Salinick?
Yeah, he's on punishment.
Oh, okay.
I think we need to call Michael Salinick.
I need more. I need more.
Yeah, we should. So we are thrilled to be sharing a cup of coffee with you. And if you're just not getting to know us, Sean can give you some places to get to know more.
As soon as I hit the right button.
Mm-hmm.
Still hit the wrong button.
Are we recording?
We are recording.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for listening to Layman. You can find us on any podcast catcher. Follow us on all the social medias. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Layman's Cup. If you have any comments or questions, you can email the show at laymanscup@gmail.com. And lastly, you can listen to the show on Spotify and iHeartRadio. Also, you make sure that you go and follow us on YouTube. Subscribe as we have more and more shows coming out. We even started having the original shows remastered and re-edited out for your enjoyment.
I just now downloaded Spotify, so I'm now on Spotify. And I hate that I waited this long to do it.
Yeah,
I was
thank you, Ken.
iTunes loyal. I even went to Tidal for a little bit.
Tidal? That Jay-Z's?
That's Jay-Z's app. And then I went to Spotify.
You're the guy that
DVC Collective put a playlist out on Spotify, so I downloaded Spotify.
There you go.
Holly purchase. Our sponsors, the good folks over at Carolina Furniture Mart, 644 North Aspen Street, Lincolnton, North Carolina, 28092. Go and let their family serve your family. Go see a man named Stu. New Hip Stu will take care of you. And we want to thank our sweet friend over at Candyland Creations, CANDEE Land Creations. Go on Facebook, pull her up, CANDEE Land Creations. Scroll down her Etsy link, click on her page, shop, tell her that the Layman sent you. Buy yourself a Layman's Cup t-shirt and many, many more. And we'd like to thank our friend over at Navigating Neverland with Amy. No, it's Navigating Neverland Travel Company. Navigating Neverland with Amy is a social media handle. So Navigating Neverland with Amy, if you want to go to Disney Cruise, Disneyland, Disney World.
Next year.
Wait till the COVID-19 dies down. If you want to take a Carnival cruise, she can do that for you as well. All types of vacations. All you got to do is hook up with Navigating Neverland Travel Company, and Amy will help you out with that. Guys, thank you for being sponsors for our podcast, helping us get the gospel out. First things first, Bob, what are we sipping on? One of those silver bags.
What, you mean just randomly pick one?
Now, I want you to so the beans, whichever one's the whole bean, is that a whole bean bag that's open? That one's still closed. So we've already
we narrowed it down to two.
We've already cracked into two. One of them's already ground, and that's what's brewing in there right now. But the whole bean bag, that's the one we're drinking on right now. That bag comes from Pastor Bink Garbutt.
Oh, yeah. He
Pastor,
said he was sending us.
He said he set us up for a while. So Pastor Bink Garbutt, I want you to hear this. Thank you for the coffee. What we're gonna do is, the reason I opened two bags today is because I wanted to taste that one of the whole beans.
You said it's ground or whole bean? Which one?
So what you're drinking now is whole bean.
Okay, so that would be the Seven Hills Coffee Roasters Honduran Finca La Concepcion honey.
And I got to tell you, I sipped this whole with no creamer in it. For Honduran, it's pretty good.
Hear that, Dan?
We got
there is good Honduran.
We got some good Honduran coffee. Holly Furchers, our palates don't really like the Central American.
Yeah, fair.
Okay.
That's fair.
Have you had Peruvian coffee?
Yeah. I'm not a big fan.
Probably because they irrigate with the raw sewage. From what we probably think.
So here's the question. Is it just that we don't like Honduran coffee, or does Dan not pick good coffee?
I think Dan kept the good stuff.
I think it's that. I think it's Dan's fault because that's Honduran coffee and that's good. Now, what you think about that one, Holly?
I like it.
You would not have said that's Honduran coffee, would you? No.
Now the ground which you've already opened as well. That is the Garbutt Home Team Blend.
So Garbutt Home Team Blend. I want to know more about this Seven Hills Brewing or Seven Hills Roasting.
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yeah. So we'll call you next week, Pastor Garbutt, and talk to you about your home blend and what you guys got going on. But man, we are really stoked about this coffee. Thank you for sending us these 3 bags.
3 bags. The other one is the Ethiopian washed Sidamoa. Yeah.
This is why you do this and I don't.
Sidamo.
So what's the whole bean? What's the name of the whole bean we're sipping on?
Honduran Finca La Concepcion Hone.
Finca. ¿Cómo se dice finca in inglés? Finca.
Hone.
No say.
Finca? I don't know what finca is. But I know what Concepcion is.
What is it?
Conception.
I know. What's the law? No, I'm just kidding.
He said Hone, but it's not Hone.
It's honey. It's honey.
Hone.
Not whole name.
It's like, don't do that.
Let me tell you something. This coffee's good, man. We got to start doing a little more in-depth review on our coffees. If we're going to be 4 guys seeking the truth one sip at a time, then we got to give some love to the coffee. We just kind of blow.
Yeah,
by
mine's
it.
gone. So
Yeah, yours is gone
it's
already.
gone. It's-
So
it tasted like the same stuff I drank. No, I'm just kidding. It was good. I liked it.
there you go. The Garbutt Home Brew, or that label, that's what's brewing right now for after the break. So we're gonna get to that in the second part of the show. Reviews, new likes. Do we have any of those? I don't think we have any reviews, but I don't check those. So help us out, Sean. And Bob's checking the new likes. Overview. Look for 13 new likes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
It's like
12,
all
13.
them people at home, week 3 of the end of the world, are finding something to listen to.
So it's not that far back. It says 13 on my end, but for some
I
reason.
guarantee you Wes Muburn's one of them. He's unclicked it and then liked it again. Probably several times after being home.
Did we say Adam Williams last week?
Yeah, that's my coworker.
That's your coworker. Okay, so shout out to Adam. So we're going to start from Adam's name and work our way up. Douglas Cooper, who's a minister of education at Macedonia Baptist. Douglas Cooper, thank you. Dale Stenberg, Sean White, Hank Walker. That's a pastor at Friendship Baptist Church. Thomas Neal, Gabriel Williams, associate professor at the College of Charleston, and Miguel Corella. This is Corella. That's what it is.
Corella, okay.
Yeah. Corella. Quality control, microbiologist.
So you took the time to stalk all these people. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I did. Listen, we got some heavy hitters liking our page now, baby. So listen, Miguel Corella, Gabriel Williams, Thomas Neal, Hank Walker, Sean White, Dale Stenberg. Thank you, guys. And Douglas Cooper. Thank you, guys,
Those
for
church
liking
staffers are just listening so they can have a good laugh.
Or
They're not really taking us that serious.
using us for discipleship fodder in their small groups.
Yeah, they've
That's
got
how you don't do it.
Yeah, they've got the problem with that statement.
Special events coming up. We don't have a date anymore, do we, Holly?
I don't know.
Everything's
Yeah, this is
TBD.
all-
The whole world is
Everything's
TBD.
right now. Yeah.
2020 looking like a wash.
But we do have an opportunity though, because we're not doing the Pregnancy Care fundraiser, but we're doing something else, right?
We are doing the pregnancy care fund. Oh,
No.
no. Yeah.
I was going to say, Holly, why don't you talk about that real quick?
Yeah,
About
so-
what you're doing now.
Yeah, so this week, so we were supposed to have a huge fundraiser
Pull it to you.
on
Pull it to
April 2nd. Can you hear me?
I got you better.
And we were bringing in Abby Johnson from the featured film Unplanned, which if you've been listening, you've likely heard about over the past few weeks with the layman. But so that definitely cannot happen now. And so basically what we've done is we've decided we're just going to launch kind of a 2-week campaign, try to raise $100,000, which is pretty much what we need to sustain our budget at this time. And so to make a long story short, we had a donor who was willing to match dollar for dollar up to $30,000.
Come on.
This past week, we hit about $35,000 of donations, so you can make that $65,000. And then this week, we're going to keep pushing on. And then on April 2nd at 7:30, which is when the event was supposed to take place, Crystal Regan, the CEO, and myself will go live. And our goal, definitely say our goal, because I don't know how feasible things are going to be, but
you don't know what God's going to do.
That's exactly right. But we're going to try to we're going to talk about heartbeats for a little bit. We're going to have some people calling in, just some donors, some volunteers, some local pastors, just talking about heartbeats, why they choose to support heartbeats, and just telling some stories. So really, that night's just going to be a celebration, and there's not much else to watch on TV or anywhere else right now, so might as well tune in, hear about what God's doing at Heartbeats Women's Center in Denver, North Carolina.
I look forward to it. Donation coming from Kemp soon.
Sweet. That's what I like to hear.
So whatever I donate.
Yeah, you're going to match that 30,000, ain't you?
He's going to double.
Isn't it Camp? Yeah, isn't it you?
Anonymous donor.
I don't have any.
The Bible says not to boast about those things.
That's right. That's right.
You want the person to remain anonymous, don't you?
Suddenly, Ananias and Sapphira come to
mind. No, it's just like an observation that this song stuck in my head. You heard those Charmin commercials? They're on the radio. They're like, all I hear is like Charmin commercials. It's got this little song, and it's stuck in my head, and it always. And they're like, I've heard more Charmin commercials on the radio.
Yeah.
And is that really necessary?
Stock's up right now.
Charmin, huh? It's like, do you really need to waste money on your marketing right now? Burger King can make toilet paper and it'd sell out with no advertising right now. So we don't need the song stuck in our head. It's not really necessary.
Have you ever heard the comedian say, like, why does toilet paper need a commercial? Who's not buying this? Apparently everybody is. Yeah. At one time.
So what's the song?
I don't even want to say.
I don't know. I really don't know the song.
Charmin Homes. I don't want to do this. Make a rose tattoo. No, I'm not gonna do it. Y'all can play it. Y'all can play it bring it up on the break, but it's already stuck in my head. Yeah. 6 rows in one. All right, I've said too much. But anyway, yeah, they can stop
Collective.
With that. They can
stop. Another member. We know who to go
That's
to.
Right.
We need a vocalist.
Look
we need
no
a male
further.
vocalist.
Look no further.
Josh, is Josh Cody a vocalist? Oh, I'm sorry, Josh. I thought I said your name and everybody heard you say hello. Josh Cody, say what's up to the people.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah, you hear that? I got to run for my money today, don't on the sultry baritone. Yeah. Stop drinking all the coffee. Your voice sounds good.
Drinking honey and lemon juice.
You're coming in, yeah. Talk to him, Holly.
Honey and lemon juice.
You're coming in hot, Josh. All right, I do want to get into this topic this week in Greensboro, North Carolina. So let's start with the top. Our governor issued a statewide restraint on what we could do, how we could move. It's not really shelter in place yet for the whole state, but it is a restraint on what we could do. We now have a list of essential businesses, essential personnel who can stay open, who can go and who can come and go, and who should not be open. Things like nail salons are not going to be open. Mm-hmm. I'm getting a little long on the top right now. My barbershop's closed, and it was a bad time. The timing was awful because I was about 5 days into my haircut, and then I couldn't get to the barbershop, and then he closed. So now I got to figure it out.
Me too.
Huh. You should have your barber's cell phone number.
I do have it. Yeah.
And he said, it's going to be like a speakeasy. Like I have to go around back and probably knock and get in. But
yeah, it's going to be knock.
But
who is it?
You'll see me with a fresh haircut next week.
Temple fades. And then the door comes up. Anyway, so we got a list of all the businesses. Everybody knows by now what's going on with coronavirus, COVID-19. So there is a ministry that many folks in our area are very connected. We're connected to. We support this ministry, Love Life, and I have gone out with them to one of our abortion clinics in Charlotte. I guess that's the only abortion clinic in Charlotte that I know of that's public. And we've prayer walked at that abortion clinic. We didn't engage anybody. It was peaceful. We had the police out there. They had a parade permit. We followed all the restrictions of the law. We were fine. We were in compliance. I don't know Love Life, the Ministry of Love Life, to not be in compliance. Mm-hmm. I don't think that that's a reputation that they have for not being in compliance with the law. So with the governor's orders, right now you can't congregate in public. Is that what I'm going?
There's a limit for mass gatherings in the state of North Carolina. I think that it's at 50 right now.
Okay, so it's still 50. It hadn't gone down to 10 yet.
Correct.
Okay. Mass gatherings out in public, you can't do that. If you're going to be out in public, You still have to keep social distancing, 6 feet, give people some space, which I can tell you I've been in public I haven't stopped, and people ain't giving everybody 6 feet all the time. That's not happening. But it's the idea is it works in theory. So our folks, a team of people from Love Life, were doing a prayer walk in Greensboro, North Carolina. The only reason I'm speaking so freely about it is because it was on Facebook Live. Everybody who has Facebook has access to it. So there's a team that was in Greensboro this weekend, yesterday, as a matter of fact. But not only were they in Greensboro, they were in New York City. They were in Wake County, which is another county in North Carolina. That's Raleigh, Durham. And then Greensboro's Guilford County. Greensboro, city of Greensboro, well known. It's where the ACC tournament used to be played. They get into, they get warned by local law enforcement, Greensboro PD, that they have to leave. But from the information that we have, it sounds like Greensboro PD says you got to leave. And then they left. Greensboro PD drove off and then came back at some point in time. Well, by the time they get back, some different leaders from Love Life had driven up from Charlotte to Greensboro to sort of say, hey, we're here to make sure everything's going okay. Love Life brought their attorney with them from Charlotte and read the governor's orders and read the county ordinance and said, we're in compliance with the law. Greensboro PD lieutenant says, Love Life, you got to leave. You got to go. They say, we're not leaving. We're on a public street. We're complying with the law. We're not on anybody's private property. We're not engaging anybody. They say, you got to go or we're going to charge you. Now, that's the language that we heard on Facebook. Didn't say we're going to charge you with disorderly conduct, resist, obstruct, delay. It just says we're going to charge you. So I can only imagine that they're going to charge them with violating the governor's order. That's the only thing that I can think of that they were being charged with, because a lieutenant who's been in law enforcement any time. Okay. But to suggest that he is a lieutenant suggests some things to me. He's got promoted past sergeant and now he's a lieutenant. Some people have captains and lieutenants. But anyway, he's a lieutenant now. So he's been promoted twice in his agency, at minimum twice. So I know he knows things about the law, how this stuff works. I know that he's not going to snatch somebody up off a public sidewalk and arrest them for no reason. So I'm just trying to think through why he would arrest them. And it has to be, the only thing I can think of is for the governor's order.
Well, the governor's order actually doesn't take place till today at 5 p.m.
So that's something
today? Oh, yeah.
Monday.
Which
would be... Yeah, so the day that you hear this.
Monday.
So this was 2 days ago. So it could not have been that. Not that order.
Right, but we got to understand is that Guilford County, which Greensboro is under a stay-at-home
shelter
order.
In place.
Shelter in place. It's the same thing, just different wording.
So they are in shelter in place.
Yes.
But shelter in place still means you can still go out. Your parks are open. Some parks are open, aren't they? Is that what it means?
You can go play golf.
You can go play golf.
At least that's the way it is in Mecklenburg. So, but what is the Greensboro?
So there's different language.
Yeah, so in Guilford County, which it would appear, I tried to look up this ordinance yesterday as well to read it for myself and the language for myself, and I actually had a very difficult time locating it, which was kind of weird. But it does appear, you hear Justin Reeder, who's the founder and the CEO of Love Life, in the video on Facebook say, we are in accordance with the county ordinance. So to confidently say that would appear as though they've read it and they felt very comfortable doing what they were doing.
Yeah.
The government's order, the state order, does not affect what we're doing right now because it does not take effect until Monday at 5 o'clock.
Right.
Right now, this is Sunday. This event happened yesterday on Saturday. So there's nothing that Governor Cooper, Ward Cooper is our governor, nothing that he said takes effect yesterday.
Yeah. So a lot of things that have, a lot of conversations have come up due to this incident yesterday. Many of us, we have a thread with your dad, Holly. We were like machine gun thumbs last night, texting last night. And some people feel like we're now standing at the proverbial top of the slippery slope.
Yeah.
And we're looking down and seeing that the government is encroaching on rights that they have, that they're overreaching. So I can just tell you that in Mecklenburg County, I'm not stopping anybody. If you're out, I'm going to assume you're essential personnel. If I stop you, it will be because you broke some other traffic violation. I'm going to stop you for that, or you broke a law that made me engage you. And then I find out you're not essential personnel, then we can handle that as well. But that's just my philosophy. And that's today on March the 29th.
And to understand where Kemp works, has this shelter in place order or stay at home order, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So where his jurisdiction is the same as the Love Life.
Yeah. I don't know how many vehicles I want to be sticking my head in right now anyway. So
have you seen the meme where you get pulled over by a stop and sign up? I got corona. I got corona.
Yeah. So a lot of conversations we had about this, man. Josh, Wes. Some people think we're headed down a slippery slope. Some people are thinking that I've heard like persecution. I've heard church persecution over the last couple of weeks. I think that's an overreach by Christians. Holly said something to me today that I thought was really interesting. There's the patriot and the saint, right? You're battling with that internally.
That's right.
The patriot in me says you're not going to infringe on my rights. The Christian in you says
you have no right on earth. You are an alien.
Come on.
Here. And so I think we've never in the history, all throughout the Bible, we see believers and the people of God confronted by the law of the land. And not once do they fight it. They simply say, I've got to do what I've got to do, and you've got to do what you've got to do. That means you got to throw me in jail. But I think of Peter and John, but we can't stop speaking about the things that we've seen and we've heard.
Yeah.
We can't. Or Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego saying, we're not going to bow down. We understand you've got to throw us in the fiery furnace, but if that's what you got to do, we understand.
Yeah.
But
and
so
that's,
you have
that's
no
what
rights.
happened on film. That's what happened on the video.
I think we obey God's law, not man's.
Not man's
But
law.
at the same time,
you didn't like it, Wes.
Well,
you didn't like the video.
We do have to abide with Romans 13, where we are subject to our government and laws.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, I don't think it like, and I know that Holly's smart enough to know, like, she's not saying you should not know your rights.
That's exactly right.
She's saying that. I think sometimes what Holly's saying is sometimes that Christians in America, their patriot comes out and they want to feel like they're falling on the sword before anybody's showing them a sword. Because when we look at other countries, like, there's way more persecution going on. Like, I think sometimes as Americans, like, you automatically feel offended. Even Christians feel wrongly offended. Like, we can worship freely. We don't have to hide when we're like, that's nonsense to say we're being persecuted. Like, have we said there may be times that we see it in the future? Could possibly be. I feel like those are a long way off. I think sometimes Christians want to sort of feel like martyrs before they actually they envision 100%. Themselves, and it's the whole I am David thing. It's like they want to feel more important than they actually are. And what Holly's saying is that if you look at Paul, like we talked in church today, Chris preached on Ephesians 3, he was okay with his imprisonment. Yeah. He understood it's part of being a Christian. We can't even say that as Americans. Like, we're not even close to that. I mean,
so here's what I think. I'm kind of somewhere in between the saint and the patriot thing. Is I don't think we're being persecuted. I think the church. I think the government is doing the right thing. I think we need to do this. But I'm scared. What happens in government throughout history? I mean, then this has always been the case. Is the government will slowly take power, and when they take power, they don't willingly give it up. Yeah, that's what scares me about. That's why I'm a Republican.
Slippery
the
slope.
way the Republican's supposed to be. Let me put it that way. Is that we're supposed to limit government. That's why I never trust the government. And what the government has gained more power in the last 10 days than it has in the last 140 years. and that scares me. They effectively now could shut down society for whatever they see deemed fit. And that's basically what they have done. There's not a time in history where this has happened, where they told where the government says you must stay at home, you must do this, unless I think you're important. They've never done that. But now they could do this. They're doing this for a pandemic, probably doing this for the right reason, but just because the government thinks it's right doesn't necessarily mean it is.
Oh, well, we know that. I can tell you this. I don't trust the government. I do not trust.
As a government employee. Yeah.
As a government employee, I do not trust the government. If they say, trust me, we're with the government, I'm going, I need more information. I need more context.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I just feel that here's where I'm leaning today, Sean. People are getting sick. Some people are dying from this sickness. We got to figure something out here. And really what we know is that it's a respiratory issue and we don't have the ventilators for the people when they get sick. So I'm just saying, what do we need to stop this?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Y'all need us to buckle down for a couple of weeks? Cool. I can do that.
Yes, as someone who loves their brothers and sisters in Christ, we are doing the right thing. Mm-hmm. We're doing the right thing by having a drive-in church instead of saying, nope, we're going to open our doors and we don't care who says anything. Yeah. We're doing the right thing because we are loving our neighbors.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But in loving our neighbor, how much power are we giving the government? What I'm scared, just because as a history guy who studied government, they're not going to be willing to give this up.
So that was something interesting somebody said too, that loving your neighbor could go both ways. I could protest on behalf of defenseless babies. Mm-hmm. That's loving my neighbor. Or I could love my neighbor well and not come out and subject older, weaker, respiratory. Mm-hmm. I could not come out and put people at risk.
The issue, I think that from a little bit of a medical perspective, and even speaking as someone with the history, Sean, I share your degree in history.
You know where I'm coming from.
Absolutely, and granted, hear this from someone who is immunocompromised. Okay. The issue is we don't shut down during the flu season.
Nope.
And the flu could be just as detrimental to those who are above the age of 65, to those who are immunocompromised, who have underlying conditions. We see there's a high death rate for the flu. So the issue right now is not actually the deadliness of COVID-19. It is what could become deadly is that we don't have the beds in hospitals if this were to become this mass spread and we just fill hospitals all at one time. It is very likely we see the coronavirus in our future every single year come around, right? And we're not going to have to shut down every time it comes around. Yeah. You hear me?
Some of us might have already had it. Patrick.
So, and that's what I think, kind of, not to cut you off, but it's not that it's so deadly. It's that our ability to control,
that's right,
to take care of those
to
who
treat,
are sick.
And that's the lack of ventilators and those types of things that are the concern, and the welfare of our healthcare workers, right? Yeah. So we don't want to just be irresponsible and fill our hospitals with people when we don't have the resources to treat them. So that being said, it is not particularly irresponsible to practice social distancing outside.
You ought to do
You're
that
not
anyway.
putting elderly at risk any more so than you are during flu season.
Yeah.
Do you hear me?
Okay.
And so I think that's the question: is you're acting as though people appear to be acting as though, oh, that's so irresponsible, and you're not loving your neighbor well in that way. Not loving your neighbor well would be to just completely disregard everything that's being said.
Now, this wasn't Fort Lauderdale spring break. This was three or four guys 6 feet apart.
Well, so to pick Bob, Holly said that there wasn't just Love Life out there.
Yeah,
out there it was multiple pro-life
organizations who have been out there for years.
And
they
left.
Represent out there. It appears as though, from the understanding that I have, and from the folks that I have spoken to, that they did. They chose to leave. I don't know if folks may know this, but there are a lot of places that have mobile medical units, they do pregnancy test and ultrasound on those units. They're typically outside of abortion clinics. And from what I've gathered, they're not doing that right now. They don't feel that that is the wisest thing to do. And I'm in agreement with them. Yeah. Our mobile unit is not out right now. It's tucked away in a warehouse. Okay. Yeah. So that's not the wisest thing. So they're not doing that.
Yeah. I'm with it. I'm
they're still trying to be safe. But I think you have people that look at it and go, oh, which is loving your neighbor more? And I just would push back on that and say, you're not putting anyone at risk by practicing social distancing outside.
More so than the flu.
That's right, Clay.
This is what maybe it's just my own personal thought, but in the past couple of years, like every week we have, and this may be just me being a cynic, or a little skeptical, of just, all major media, both conservative and
I don't trust them.
And so, but they blow it. Everything is like the next big thing, the next big crisis. And so you look at the Fort Lauderdale thing when these kids go on spring break. Like, they're so numb to that. Like, every week, the news cycle brings a new crying wolf, right? Yeah. The media crying wolf about this is going to be huge and, all this. It's such a awful, Well, when we really need people to actually listen and maybe stay in and take heed, well, those kids in spring break, like, the media is just blowing it out of proportion.
Blow over.
And it may be partly maybe some we live in an overreactive culture, and they overreach, they overcorrect on everything. We even overcorrect on our speech. Like, you can't even say certain things, right? We talk about that. Yeah. Like, you can't say certain things because it's a trigger word.
I don't like black anymore either, by the way.
What does that mean? I don't understand.
I don't like
you don't like the term black.
People as black. Okay. You know why? Because black is an English word for Negro.
Oh. No, that's a Spanish word for it. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, English.
What?
English.
Spanish.
Oh, your English word for the Spanish. Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. I'm kidding, man.
How should we refer?
See, now I'm like overcorrecting. See, I can't even speak now.
Hey, let's go. Let's take a break before we get to the cancel culture that's going to take us out of the thing.
And you went for it.
Yeah. That went way over his head. He was too short for that joke. Yeah. All right, let's take a break.
And we back. All right, Pastor Bink Garbutts, we refilled the coffee cups, and we got in my cup. I have the Garbutt Family. Bob, what am I sipping on? Garbutt Family Blend.
It's home team.
Home team.
Not that one. That was the other one's the ground.
So for the ones watching us on YouTube, Holly got a lot uglier.
Yeah, Holly got ugly.
Ugly. She's actually going to go worship.
At uglier.
I see.
The beautiful Holly.
She won't be back.
Yeah.
I tried to have a funny, and I stuck my foot in my mouth.
Now you know how it feels to have a joke that doesn't stick. And we're going to let you sit in it.
Holly left, and Wes is back in his normal
seat. It's good to bomb, man. Just sit in that bomb.
Oh, yeah. Holly, the next time I see you, I do owe you an apology.
And if you on YouTube can see, my feet are actually touching the ground.
That's right.
Hey, listen. Through the magics of special
actually, right now they can't see that, but
hey,
see, my feet are touching the ground. See, I can rock back and forth.
There you go.
By my feet. This is not electronic. This is my feet doing that. Okay.
Shout out to the good folks over at Carolina Furniture Mart. Wes is sitting in the Carolina Furniture Mart.
They can find furniture for any body type.
But listen, if you were in a room and you didn't know Wes, and Wes was walking down the hall, you would think this is a massive man.
Isn't it? Sounds like Shrek coming down the hall.
You know the part when
I don't get that. What do you mean?
You walk heavy.
You're heavy-footed.
Yeah.
We were all in here waiting on Wes, and you could hear him come up the stairs and walk through the hallway like.
This is a large man coming,
and he's got that gruff voice.
Yeah.
My wife says the same thing when I walk through the house. She's like, "You sound like you're like stomping all the time through the house."
You walk angry.
Yeah. I am angry. Have you not figured I am angry? I do that. I do carry a bit of forceful anger in my heart most of the time.
You walk like you tweet.
Throwing those gospel bombs. This is a good blend.
Man, this is delicious.
So
coffee
which one
right
is
here.
this one?
This is the home team, Garbutt home team, and I don't have any creamer in this.
Yeah,
And it is-
I didn't either.
I just had
this
it
is
black.
good.
I would pan the camera to Bob, but he is completely not paying attention right now.
Shouts out to Bobby.
Yeah, don't get me on camera.
So, I was gonna say something, and I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, you remember when the orcs captured Frodo
Yeah.
in the last one? And Samwise was coming up there,
Is your target mark.
and they were looking at his shadow, and he was coming up the stairs.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's what Wes sounds like coming down the hall.
See, I knew when they said Frodo, it was something aimed at me. To poke fun at me. I knew it.
All right, Wes, I want you to do something. I want you to show our people what coffee cup you had while Holly Furches was in the room. Yes, that does say. I love intercourse, PA.
Wes is a
Now-
real
Yeah,
crazy.
No,
It's in Amish country, okay? It's an actual town. In Amish country.
I'm actually like I was handing these out, and I looked at that one. I said, I'm gonna skip over that one.
Yeah.
With Holly in the room, and Wes reached over me and grabbed that one.
Yeah, I did
He
think
picked
of.
through them.
Yeah, I did think about that, like, because I remember I got it. I said, "Hey, Holly, look what I got." And I was thinking after we come in here, I was like, that probably wasn't the best thing to do.
Yeah,
Hire Holly as a single girl.
Holly,
Just one of the dudes.
You're at heart, and I'm like, oh.
she's fine. All right, boys, is the government overreaching or what? Josh, you hadn't weighed in on this yet.
And
By the way, we all watched this together.
Yeah,
Again, reviewing it's the video that from Love Life in Greensboro, where several of the members were arrested for basically prayer walking.
Yeah, I mean, at tops, it's half a dozen guys, and they're sitting there, and they're asking, like saying, "For the record, please tell us what we're doing wrong." And
What have
the
been
officer
charged for?
said, the officer said, "No, I mean, I don't owe you nothing. I'm not debating this with you right now." He was like, "You're going to get a citation." He pushed it, and to me, that was just unsettling, because I
Couldn't even
mean,
tell him what he was doing wrong.
yeah.
Didn't he say I made a command?
I've given you a
I've
command.
given you a command.
I've given you a
Yeah.
command to leave. Are you gonna stay or are you gonna leave?
And we talked about it earlier. It's almost like he got personal with him.
yeah.
One of the officers said, "You are disrespecting me by doing this. You're disrespecting me by doing this."
But
I understand. We're in unprecedented times, and there is something to be said. Like maybe you shouldn't. There's a guy that got arrested for having a 60-person bonfire, which is kind of irresponsible this time. But this here, they're having social distance. They're not breaking any laws. They're maintaining their distance.
I would have to feel real strong about this order, and I'd have to. So let me give you an example. When it first came out in Mecklenburg County, the governor's orders were you can't have alcohol. You can't have a drink of alcohol at a permitted establishment. So like the question was, if I order my food for takeout, if let's say I walk in the restaurant A, let's say I'm Midtown Sundries, okay? I walk into Midtown Sundries for takeout only. While I'm waiting on them to make my wings, all flats, Barbelo.
Barbelo extra grilled.
Yeah, Barbelo extra grill, all flats,
All flat.
I'm with you.
ranch.
Flats.
how can something be all
wings,
extra grilled?
Oh yeah, because it's
Is
a
it a grilled
little
or
crispy.
not?
Yeah, a little crispier.
No, you get them extra grilled.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Not as slimy.
Yeah, there you go. That's exactly why. But while I'm waiting, I have a Blue Moon beer. Just while I'm waiting. So the governor says, no, you can't have any alcoholic beverages while you're on premises. So because the restaurants like that make a lot of money off of the bar.
They probably make more money off the bar than the food, right? Something like
Percentages wise.
Yeah, you look at more profit margin.
Yeah, the profit margin. So they're saying, can I serve a guy a beer while he waits on his takeout? And the answer was no, they can't do that. Because that is the spirit of the law is we don't want people congregating. We don't want people sitting. And so a golf course in Mecklenburg County calls me and says, can I take a beer on the cart, beer or wine because spirits are off. You can't have any liquor right now, but beer and wine you can sell to go. So golf
It
course.
just sounds bad, don't it? Like, you can only get it to go.
Yeah, closed to go.
Okay.
So he says, "Can I take Captain's Choice a couple beers on the golf cart?" And technically, to the letter of the law, you can't have alcohol on a permitted establishment right now. But if the spirit of the law. Does the spirit of you think the governor was thinking about 4 guys playing golf on a golf course when that came out? No, because then it came out and said no picnic tables and no picnic areas, no outdoor seating and no picnic tables. You can't sit there and have a drink. So the spirit of the law, but again, that's not up for Kemp's interpretation, right? I can't write you based on my interpretation. I have to write you according to the law.
Yeah.
So Officer X you fill in the blank. Whoever the officer is, he has to decide, am I going to go and enforce this at a 60-person bonfire? Am I going to walk on your property and say, everybody's under arrest? I don't know if I'm going to do that.
Is this something you could arrest somebody for?
It's a class 2 misdemeanor for being out of compliance with the governor's order right now.
So let me ask you this, Kemp. And you may not be able to, well, you could tell us whether you know this. Was there ever a time where your superior sat you and your squad down or your group down and said, this is what's expected of you? If you see somebody just walking on the street or you see somebody conjugating out on the corner in Charlotte.
Conjugating like verbs?
Congregating.
Congregating.
You mean since for this order?
Yeah, for this order.
No.
Okay.
No. And in my career, I've never had a superior officer say to me, you will arrest for this. Unless it was domestic violence and there was clear signs of abuse. The law actually says you shall arrest.
So right now it says that people cannot get together. And if you see people getting together on the side, like a try on and trade, or whatever it is, it's a judgment call for you to what to do at this point.
Yeah. I got to decide whether or not I want to engage that.
Okay.
And what's going to make me, because again, my agency is a little different. I mean, it's like we're patrol detectives, vice, all that. I mean, it's different.
Yeah.
So I got to decide what I'm going to engage in. And am I going to? No, I'm not doing.
Well, I keep remembering when we had the conversations about all the police shootings and stuff. Remember?
Yeah.
Do you ask yourself, like, internally, like, am I going to have to chase someone? Then no.
Yeah, I don't really feel like. No, I remember when we had those conversations a couple years ago with all the police shootings, and I just keep remember hearing you say that your main job is to de-escalate every situation.
You got to de-escalate.
And in this situation, the officer escalated it. Mm-hmm. He did not de-escalate it.
It does. I don't know the officer escalated, but he didn't de-escalate based on the footage that we saw. And I'll say this too. My knee jerk, Josh, when I saw the video, my knee jerk was, there's got to be more.
There's something else.
And that's something that, in this day and age when there's a lot of police videos and stuff like that, and somebody's quick to get out of the camera, you don't want, maybe there is some context or something's missing or something behind there, but based on what we see, I can't really tell, because it was, the whole conversation was pretty much captured when they came there, and they couldn't even tell them what they were doing wrong.
Well, there's a sense too that we've been involved with the folks. We've went with Love Life. And been,
it's a cause that we all support,
and we all support it, and we know that they don't even when we go into the abortion clinic. They are all about de-escalation. Mm-hmm. They don't even want you to act like because we've been there before and people are yelling at us as we walk. And they don't want you to even look at them.
Love Life. The organization doesn't want you to engage.
And that's something that I think is important in that video is I don't see anybody in Love Life revolting it against the officers or getting loud or they might have been as frustrated and mad as can be, but you don't see that. They stay calm. They didn't raise their voice. Matter of fact, they said, go sit down on the curb, and they went and sat down on the curb.
Right. And by doing that, I thought they put the behavior of the officers, I thought they put them to open shame.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. By them being respectful, by them having like a level-headed attitude.
Yeah.
I thought they put the officers to shame in that situation.
Yeah, and let's see, the importance they weren't. I mean,
Based on the
they
footage.
did have a conversation with a boyfriend that was there with his girlfriend.
Yeah, they already
in
had a
there,
conversation.
Shared, was able to talk with him and stuff, and you would think about the importance of that if they were to convince him not to have the abortion. You basically saved a life by them being there, which otherwise wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
So let's you ask this question, and I think it's a good question. Has the government overreached their power
With this order.
with this order?
Yeah.
So that's
With this order, no. With the way that the officers in this video interpreted it, yes. I thought that was unsettling because in the South, in the Bible Belt here, usually the church and the thin blue line go hand in hand. I mean, we support our officers in blue. We support the military. We support the country. I mean, it's God, country, family. God, family, country. I mean, so to see these two butt up against each other, while I understand in some parts of the nation and some parts of the world that happens, I'm not used to seeing that.
Yeah. So I'm going to disagree with you a little bit there, Josh, because I think we've said this before. We believe in one truth, but at the same time, two things can be true. I think the government has overstepped their boundaries. I think they have overreached, but I think they've done it for a good reason. I think it needed to be done, but they have gained more power in the last 10, 14 days than they've ever have in the last, I would say, 100 since the Civil War.
Well, then if you think it's for a good cause, and I agree with you, this is for a good cause. If it's for a good cause, then it's not an overreach. It's a necessity.
Because I give them a little bit of grace.
I think the fear is what Josh is saying is unsettling. Is that who gets to define what a good cause is?
Yeah.
Because
the people.
Because if
it's not the people that's determining that now.
We don't get to vote on it. So what's happened is it's just like Holly said with Governor Cooper making this this stay-at-home order that goes into effect actually today.
Yeah,
the day that people are hearing this.
Sean's going to drop it tonight.
There's some background information that suggests that some healthcare providers were really putting the heat on them. So for
to
him,
do what? To put this in order.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yes, it may be a good cause this time, but if it's politically expedient for him in that way, maybe it's needed in this instance. But in the next instance, who puts the heat on and who gets to determine what the good cause is? Because the people aren't voting on this.
Yeah.
And so we voted people to put these things in order, but at the same time, we're trusting their judgment, which is coming to find out the older I get, I don't trust much of their judgment.
I don't trust them either.
So here's why I say it's an overreach. For Cooper to push an executive order like he did, that he would shut down certain businesses, the law states that he has to have approval from our assembly. We don't have a Senate and a House like most states do. We have one assembly, and he did this on his own without the assembly's approval. It wasn't until 3 hours after he pushed that he started. This was the first executive order, or the executive order that shut down the gyms and the restaurants. So that came first before there. So the shutdown that we're specifically talking about will happen today or happen Monday, the 30th. But the order that came out, I guess, last Wednesday that shut down the restaurants and stuff like that, he unilaterally made that decision. He, as one man, signed with the stroke of his pen, shut down private businesses. He grossly overreached his power as governor.
Okay.
Now, can we argue it was for a good reason? Absolutely. Did he still overstep his boundaries? Did he do things that he has never been able to do before? Absolutely. So I think both of those could be true at the same time.
I want to make sure I think I'm following what you two are saying. You're saying, yes, technically this is an overreach. Just this time we're going to allow it because of the epidemic. But what you're afraid of is that they'll use anything in the future to overreach.
Exactly. Now that he or governor, any governor for that matter, has the power to do this, they've
seen what we'll allow as a people.
And they're
exactly.
also, and right now we're allowing it. If it goes on like too long, the people will step up, be like, no, you can't. So like we're all subordinate to this at this time because we understand it to be temporary. But if they get away with it now, what's to say the next time it comes around, it's not temporary and it's permanent? And if you step out of line, you see what I'm saying? There's a sense, even though that this may be like necessary right now, there's a sense that government's sort of testing testing the people's will.
But you know what that is? That's because we don't trust the government.
Right.
That's right.
Ultimately.
Here's something that bothers me in a very real example. Tinsley Barbershop. The government has just said that his business is not essential. Well, that business is essential to him.
Oh,
It's essential. It's his livelihood.
it's essential to me.
It's essential to you. Okay, so we could say, well, it's just a barbershop.
Essential to Kim.
But to him, it's essential. But also, where does he get his supplies from?
Yeah, barber supply.
So it's essential to him, to whoever his supply chain is. You know, I think about
I'm gonna tell you right now, Sean. We gonna get these temple fades. We've already worked some things out. We gonna get these temple fades.
I'll take care of you.
I was thinking about this
You need a quarantine haircut.
and unless you're in manufacturing, you might not understand this, but we're essential. As a bakery, we produce a food product that's, everybody wants a slice of bread. So we are considered essential. But then I think about what is also essential to make us run. We don't just we're not self-contained.
You're not in a vacuum, right?
Yeah, we have vendors that have to supply us with ingredients, with bags, with ties, with electricity, with parts, with a mixer go down. We got to have people coming in to fix
Mechanics.
it. Yes, we got engineers on site, but we got to have supplies to supply those. There's a lot of vendors that go through. I got to have a uniform guy come in twice a week.
Now, think about what you're just saying. And this is one company,
yes,
who has all these vendors that are essential to the essential business. Now, is the officer to determine that driving down the road? Do I just start pulling people over, going, "Hey, let me see your credentials"? And the guy says, "Well, I'm a mechanic and I'm on my way to the bakery to fix a machine so that the people can get the bread." Right. Why are you putting that on me?
What gives the government the right to determine that I have to have permission? I have a letter in my car at this moment that says Sean is an essential employee and he's important for us to run. Please let him go to work. And what gives the government the right that I need permission to go to work?
There's a two-pronged approach too. In the break, we talked about. We're all we tout the free market. We believe in the free market. Well, we don't really have a free market because right now it's not free to run. But on the other cases, the government just passed this large stimulus bill that's historic, and so like if you're going to say, okay, we believe in limited government as a conservative, we can't really we do, except this case. And so when we have our debates, when the election season comes, they're going to use it against us and say, well, you were all for the stimulus package. I thought you're okay with these companies failing and going bankrupt,
bro.
And we'll say, that's the only exception. Yeah. But see that, and that's where I can't be. That's where I'm struggling because I would love to hear what Matt Coffey says about that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He's a small business owner. And he would say, I believe in a completely free market, but I wonder what he thinks about stimulus package because you're going to have many people that's going to get checks that are unemployed that are going to feed their family. And I'm not putting Matt on. I'm just wondering, I wonder how do we, because I don't know, how do I defend my position about free market and
I tell Matt,
I would tell government because we talked about, people are going to get the money and it's going, hopefully to the middle class to spend, but they can't spend their money to get the economy ramped up because everything's closed.
Nothing's open.
So what are they going to spend their money on?
I would tell Matt Coffey this if he was sitting here. You can't. It's hard to have a hard line blanket stance. Yeah. Things are too nuanced. Yeah. You got to look at different angles and
this is not baptism. Black and white, too easy. If you have your written word in front of you,
right. It's too nuanced for me. I've watched this happen a little bit too. The Trump hate has sort of died off when we start divvying out checks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What did it say? If you
Not my president.
If you cash that check, he's your president.
I wonder what Jeff says. Jeff says, "Well, my barbershop can't run, but I'm thankful for that check, Mr. President."
Well, hey, listen, me too. I still get to go to work. I still get to go to work, but I ain't gonna turn down nothing but my collar.
Here's something. I think I said this on the break, and a lot of people are touting, "See, this is socialism. This is socialism."
Right.
And there's part of the stimulus package that is definitely socialist. That's the whole debate was what are we going to? It's people were trying to grab power, basically what it was. But the government giving us $1,200 or whatever the case may be, no strings attached, saying here's money, go spend it. Mm-hmm. That is not socialism, because socialism is the control of labor. So I'll give you a good example. Socialism is the welfare state that says we will give you a check because you're out of it because you don't work. But if you go get a job and make money, you can no longer get a check. So they are controlling their labor. That's socialism.
So you think the welfare system is socialism?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But this is not socialism. The government giving us money is not socialism because there's no strings attached. They're not going to tell me, well, you can only work 20 hours this week because we gave you money. Does that make sense? The difference?
Yeah.
Yeah, in a sense, what I think Sean was trying to make a demarcation and say, socialism is a continued dependence on the government, and whereas it sort of creates this morphine drip constituency, and I'll vote for you as long as I keep getting my check, you
right?
know? But
it's
like in this
controlled by
case,
the government.
In this case, I'm sort of hoping people don't vote for Trump just because they get a stimulus check. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't want that to be why you vote for somebody. I want to be vote because in some sense you believe that the conservative economic principles give you more of a chance to succeed in the long term, not just temporarily because you got a little bit of money.
And just so our listeners know, we're trying to get back on a regular schedule.
Yeah, COVID, man, Chronicles.
This next week is going to be even more difficult, but we're trying to get ahead, and it's just not working because everybody has just gone crazy this last 2 weeks.
Sean's working at 4
That's what it's like at the end
a.m.
of the world.
But it's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine.
Josh, thanks for coming by, brother.
Thanks for having me.
We now know that we can sit Josh in my seat and we wouldn't miss a beat. Yeah. Just have him there it is right there. We wouldn't miss
Can
a
you
beat.
say Ron?
Just be you with
All
your
right.
voice.
You would definitely be second string.
We're calling in the lefty on this one. Hey man, Sean, tell the people how they can help us get the gospel out.
Make sure that you follow us on all the social medias. Like I was saying earlier about the church services going out, which is amazing. The same thing with our show. That the more you share it, the more people get to listen. We hope that every time we get on these mics, we glorify Christ, so that we could share it and go out more. Make sure that you go and find our YouTube video. A lot of our old content, I say a lot, 5 of them are out there, and hopefully more will come, and hopefully some new stuff will come out this week.
Yeah.
You've only got 200 more episodes to remaster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something like that.
You don't have
that actually takes a long time.
You know what, man? If we get this new content out, that's where I think you should put your energy.
That's what I'm gonna focus on. I got a couple out, but this is hopefully you'll see something new this week.
There you go.
I'm gonna shut up because Wes wants to get out of here.
We are wretched, but God is not. And through his son, he has rescued us. And through his spirit, he is changing us so that we can enjoy him forever. Thanks be to God through Jesus Christ our Lord. And until next time, Sean, cue the violence.